such a relationship girl, and so I do long-term relationships, and I've only been in 2. I call it the 7-year rule. You know how in 7 years you kind of change a little bit, and I definitely changed. I just woke up one day and I didn't like him. I was so afraid to be married.
The reason marriage scares me, whenever I ask married people, oh, how did you know this was the right person, right?
Yeah.
It's they always give you some answer that sounds like ChatGPT made it up.
Yeah.
It feels weird to say hey babe, maybe I could move in with you. Girls who would be judgmental, always ugly girls.
These idiots did not know how to have. You can go to him with any problem, but my mom, oh my gosh, she get the over it. Grow up and handle your You're a big girl. Get your big girl panties on, you're done. So that's how she's always been. And it's kind of sucks sometimes, but also I wouldn't trade it for anything because she's amazing. Trying is for losers. And he was married with a few kids, and his wife was always on stage singing too, the whole thing. And he comes up and they address a porn addiction that he had.
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. My name's Zach Evans. I'm your host. And first of all, thank you to all of our listeners. We've been getting a lot of growth and engagement over the last couple months. So thank you guys all out there for that. Today, we got a special guest on the show. This is Sloane. Sloane, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, name, what you do, and your star sign.
My name is Sloane. I am a socialite. I do a multitude of things. And my star sign is a Sagittarius, a psycho Sagittarius.
My therapist said I'm not supposed to talk to Sagittarius anymore.
What are you?
I'm the best one. Smart, funny, attractive, tall, smart, and
That's
funny.
Sagittarius. Yeah. All the way.
That's what a Sagittarius would say.
100%.
Yeah, some would say toxic, some would say fun,
I would say a great mix of both. It's great. What are you? You're not
Pisces.
an Aries.
Pisces.
Oh, okay.
I'm Aries rising, though.
Okay, nice.
But to be fair, I don't identify as Pisces.
What do you identify as?
Too crybaby.
I agree. It's very sensitive, Sally nature.
I like Aries, warrior sign.
Yes,
That's my rising. Sometimes
okay.
I just identify as a Leo,
I feel that.
Strong, kind of works.
Yes. Yeah, I just love Sagittarius. Anything involving them. It's so fun. We're the best. We're the only ones with weapons.
What's your weapon?
An arrow. It's a big old arrow. So we're the only ones with that.
You know more about this than me.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Do you find yourself in toxic relationships much?
I am such a relationship girl, and so I do long-term relationships, and I've only been in 2. And it was pretty bad. I had to get a restraining order against the last one.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be married, and I cut that off real quick. So, and he was an Aries though. So
what
it was
happened?
it was just a really bad mix. Just one day, I call it the 7-year rule. You know how in 7 years you kind of change a little bit, and I definitely changed. I just woke up one day and I didn't like him. And I tried to end things nice, and I tried to be oh, we can co-parent our dog, because we rescued this dog together from the South Korean meat market, and he was the baby. But my ex kind of freaked out and went on a rampage, because we were engaged for 2 years. And if nothing is moving in 2 years, then something is wrong,
So you were waiting for the actual wedding, and he was kind of pushing it down the road?
I was pushing it down the road.
Oh, okay.
I was a little afraid. I was so afraid to be married. And we got engaged during COVID. It was different times, it's just kind of weird. And I just woke up and I was I cannot do this. I'm scared. This is not my person. And so I just tried to end things, and then he stole my car. He took everything, and then I was oh, well, I feel way better now, so it's fine. And
Did you get your car back?
No, I just let it go. I let everything go.
What?
It was
So he stole all your stuff,
yeah,
moved out, just boom, gone.
Including a freaking shower head. He took the microwave, the shower head. Just weird things to make my life really difficult, but it was all worth it. I can't imagine being with him anymore.
Crazy.
It was wild. And during COVID, we went back to my hometown in Texas, and it was kind of cute, but then it freaked me out, because it was I don't know if I'm meant for a normal life. And that was just very normal, and I kind of had a coming to Jesus moment and was I cannot get married. There's much better things out there.
The reason marriage scares me, there's a couple reasons. One, whenever I ask married people, like, oh, how did you know, like, this was the right person, right?
Yeah.
It's like, they always give you some answer that sounds like ChatGPT made it up. They're just like, when you know, you just know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, really, do you? Or did you just marry whoever was, like, convenient and you're kind of ready to get married and, like, your mom's pressuring you and you just kind of did it?
And that's how I was.
That's how it feels like for most people to me. I'm like, is this your true love?
Yeah, I was like, no. And he was my first boyfriend ever. I didn't start dating until, like, I was really, like, fully 18 and moved out here. Because the boys from Amarillo, Texas,
Not the move?
Not it. Never dated anybody in high school or anything. So just kept to myself and traveled a lot. I had a great family.
I feel sorry for a girl. Like, I'm from Wisconsin, but
okay, so you get it.
I feel sorry for girls because, like, these guys have no life skills. You know what I mean?
None.
Just drinking coffee out of a cereal bowl because them and their 3 roommates haven't done dishes since 2023. You know, it's just like
awful.
one of my friends, actually, she was dating this guy. And she was, like, snooping around in his bathroom. You know, I guess girls do that when you're, like, dating a guy. You, like, you're like Velma trying to find the clues. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yes.
And she goes into a shower. You can't believe, like, what she found in there. It was, like, this little bottle.
Oh, no.
3-in-1 shampoo. I was like, 3-in-1? Like, okay, shampoo, conditioner.
And, like, body wash?
Put that shit in your dishwasher. Like, wash your car with that shit. Like, they're just making shit up now.
That is awful.
Yeah.
Ugh, I can imagine. Gosh, boys are weird. Especially like that. The little small town. I don't know.
But to be fair, also, so the other reason I'm scared of marriage is kind of what you said is, like, girls will just wake up one morning and, like, spin around 3 times and just decide they don't like you anymore.
It's
like,
really weird. It's really weird. And I don't know what came over me. It was just
So nothing gave you the ick or, like, the something like that, you know what I mean?
Everything gave me the ick.
I see.
I was just really nice. And I tried so hard. Like, I loved his family. We had so much fun together. He was a pro skateboarder. And we, like, did really cool things. And then, I don't know. I think COVID really messed that up because you're, forced to be inside. You're forced to, like, be with this person all the time. Nothing's really open. Granted, I did leave for a little bit to Texas, and it was very normal. So, but I kind of got the normalcy, like, of an everyday normal life, and I just freaked out. And we moved back out here, and I said, oh, no. I want to go live life again and just be on my own because I love being alone. They call me Sloane Ranger because I love being alone. And it's a terrible, toxic thing. But I want to be loved too. But then I would love to be in a relationship where they just leave me alone for half the week. Or, like, we can have separate places. And I could be married like that and do my own thing. They do their own thing. As long as I have my dog. That's all that matters.
See, that surprises me because you come off as very extroverted.
Oh, yes, I am, for sure. But I love my alone time. I value it so much. And I'm so happy by myself doing face masks, smoking weed, watching trash reality TV, and just cuddling the dog. It's great. Going on walks, doing whatever the fuck you want. So it's nice. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So 2 relationships.
Yes.
First one, big, long, 7 years you said?
Off and on for, like, technically, like, almost 9.
Yeah,
but, like, I took, like, maybe, like, a year and a half off.
Yeah.
And then I got tits, and then he somehow came back into my life.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
They work every time. They're like tractor beams. It's like gravitational pull.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, but here we are.
And then next guy you dated, because you've had 2, right?
Yes. Next guy I dated was so nice. I tried to get, like, someone, like, a little bit younger than me, had a normal job, was working at JP Morgan. Nothing was really wrong with him, but it just wasn't.
Too nice.
Yeah, it just wasn't it. All my friends loved him. He's great, but I don't know. It just wasn't. He wasn't my person, and we're still friends. And so he just moved in with me very quickly. Like, we were hanging out, and he was staying over a few nights, and then next thing I know, he's, like, always there.
He moved into your place.
Yeah.
The other guy, he moved into your place too? Or you moved into his?
I kind of, like, moved into his place a little bit, but then we ended up getting a place together, like, after, like, 2 or 3 months. So it really wasn't that bad. But then this one just moved in with me very quickly, and it kind of freaked me out.
I just, like, I'm trying to, like, picture moving into a girl's place.
Isn't it weird?
Feels weird. Like it feels like, okay, maybe she moves into my place or we get a place together or something.
Exactly.
It feels weird to say like, hey babe, like maybe I could move in with you.
And he like had a great place in Costa Mesa in Orange County, and it was like a good 3-story townhouse. He had his own thing going on too. And his roommates were kind of crazy, though. We're still all, like, good friends, like I said. But they're partiers, too. Mm-hmm. Like, they just are crazy partiers. And I'm not. Like, I go out and stuff, and I have fun. But I love the alone time. And so he was just always at my place. And it was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And it just happened real quick. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't know if I like this.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah. And I kind of made him break up with me because I'm kind of bad at that. Seeing as how my last one went. So
explain. You
I didn't want to like, well, I was just doing other things and I was just busy. He was at home with the dogs and just hanging out. And he was like very serious, like Monday through Friday with work. He woke up really early. He works downtown LA. And so he was just very like regimented on his schedule. And I am kind of all over the place. And I kind of float around and like do my own things, and he's just like not used to that. He's very like schedule, and I don't know. I'm not gonna say I got mean, but I think I kind of got a little mean, and I was just over it too.
Just gradually get meaner.
Yeah, just get a little meaner.
Until he finally breaks up with you, and you're like, finally.
And he's like, yeah, basically.
I see.
Lovely person though, great person, but
yeah, Sagittarius. It all adds up, you know.
Definitely, and he was a Sagittarius too, so I've only dated like fire signs.
Yeah, that's just a bad move.
Awful.
It's
just so funny. It's hilarious, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I've always been curious. So because you do OnlyFans, correct?
Yes.
And how were your relationships? How did they take that aspect? And was it difficult? Did they accept you for it? Were they trying to change you?
So it's a little, I got so lucky with like my ex-fiance because he kind of encouraged me to do it because I have always dreamed of being on Playboy. And excuse me. And I've like really, I grew up watching Girls Next Door. I got my boobs done. I've always like loved Pamela Anderson and Nicole Smith, like just looked up to these girls a lot. And so he encouraged me to like start a little podcast on the side because I love haunted things.
Yeah.
And so I love like all things paranormal. And I really wanted my own paranormal show because there aren't a lot of women in paranormal. And if they are, they don't have like great personalities and they're kind of weird, you know. It's just a weird.
Oh, so just the girls in the paranormal show are the weird ones.
Yeah.
The guys are totally normal.
Hell no.
Totally normal
I mean,
dudes. The
affliction
girls,
wearing, like, you know, the whole thing. They're weird as hell too.
Yeah.
They're all weird, actually. Everybody's weird in that space, including me. It's fine. But I thought I could really like go off with this, and I did a little like short podcast called Boobies. And it was kind of funny because
like
it would be like,
bees.
Yeah. And so like I would go and dress like sexy, like I'd have a theme going on for like, say, for example, you're going to a haunted mental asylum, right? You'd be in like a cute nurse's outfit or something like wild, and then maybe lose a top. But that was like all I did for OnlyFans. It's kind of like more of a dirtier Instagram, I guess. Like,
I see.
And then that was really fun. And so I got to explore a lot of haunted fun places, and you know, that was a passion, and it was great, and I had so much fun doing that, so it was the best.
The ghosts were probably pumped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, finally, a hot chick in here.
Some tits? Yeah,
We're
let's
sick
go.
of looking at these nerds in our fucking castle.
Exactly.
Finally, we get a chick in here.
It was so fun.
Uh-huh.
I still love doing it, so it's great. And then that opened the door for Playboy.
Okay.
And so that's how I got signed with Playboy. And so it was wild.
They saw your ghost show, and they're like, that's the one.
That's it. She's kind of weird. She's weird and quirky, and she's got like something different and strange going on. Yeah,
that's actually hilarious.
I loved it. It's great. I still have a blast with it. So but the relationship aspect though, my ex-fiance would take my content. He would like go around and like come with me and film it or take my photos and do all that.
A lot of couples are like that in this space.
Yeah, and he was really good about it. Like, didn't get jealous until like the very end. And it was just kind of weird. I don't know. He saw that it was getting a little bit of attention, and then saw like, oh, you know, numbers are going up a little bit more. And then my ex-boyfriend, the one that was living with me, I really don't think he liked it, but he was just very nice. And he was
He just
like,
didn't wanna
okay,
say
he just
no.
didn't want to say
I
it.
see.
But it didn't really affect that relationship because I kind of did whatever I wanted and didn't ask for like permission.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So it was different.
I think as long as you're upfront with, hey, this is
Absolutely.
who I am,
Yeah.
like it or leave it, then it is what it is.
Exactly.
I dated 2 girls who did OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And I remember being surprised because, people are judgy.
Definitely.
Mostly her, but some people were judgy of me too for like dating
100%.
somebody like that.
Yeah.
And it was always weird because to me, my mindset was like, wait, you're telling me all of these thousands of simps all over the world are paying their hard-earned money. They're working doubles at the dirt factory just to make ends meet, and they're paying all their money for a picture of my girl's tits?
Exactly.
And she comes home to me? I'm like, simps, I am your leader.
Exactly.
Like, bow down to your king, simps. I'm like king of the simps. It was almost like an ego boost. It was the opposite.
I know, and I think I love that. I think it's flattering.
Yeah, it's
but like
sick.
it's kind of cool. But some people don't think. The majority of the people don't think like that. And I'm not even naked, just my boobies, and that's it. So I don't know. It's very odd.
Yeah, and I found also the girls who would be judgmental was always ugly girls.
Oh, definitely
It was
ugly. and
never
fat
hot girls. Hot girls were always like, "Oh man, that's great for you. Like, do your thing, girl." Like, very like uplifting.
Definitely.
And then there was always some girl who looked like a bowling ball stacked on top of an exercise ball with 2 shoes at the bottom, and she's just like, "I would never do OnlyFans." I'm like,
Because no one would pay you.
Does not want you. You're in no danger. Trust me. You're in no
Exactly.
danger of starting an OnlyFans. You'll be just fine.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's so true, though. So true.
And I don't get the whole argument of like, oh, but you're like selling your body. I'm like, okay, if you like are a coal miner and you go into the coal mine and every day you're like fucking up your back and you're breathing in smoke.
You're selling your body.
That's literally selling your body.
I know.
Like your body is fucked up because it will never be the same.
Exactly.
If you're taking a picture of yourself,
Yep. Not a big deal.
what's happening to you? Your body's just fine.
Right,
Like, what
in
do
the
you mean?
comfort of your own home, and
It's
you on your own
crazy.
time, you're doing all of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hate people like that. Ugh,
I'm just like,
it's ridiculous.
and I do think a lot of it is out of jealousy because I think a lot of girls see, oh man, this girl, in a year just made my salary what I make in like, the rest of my life. And I think there's that feeling of like, oh, well, I could do that too, but I just don't want to like, stoop to that level. And they make the excuse because they're sad that they're not making as much money.
Yeah, it's so sad. I hate it.
The worst is when sometimes girls like kind of dip their toe in.
Yeah.
And then they like do it, but they don't really go all in. So they don't make any money, but then they still have like the stigma of it and everything.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that really sucks.
It does suck. I feel bad for them, but they should do it. Like, you're signing up for this. You have that reputation now, so why not lean into it a little bit,
Yeah, why
And you
not?
don't even have to be naked. You can do like lewds, and like
Dude,
fun things.
I knew this girl. She made $10K a month
Yeah.
jumping on a trampoline.
Stop. I
swear
love
to God,
that.
she literally one day during COVID went to fucking Costco, got one of those little mini trampolines,
Yes.
and she didn't even get naked. She wore a swimsuit, and she had like huge boobs. Like
That is amazing.
This chick could breastfeed an entire neighborhood of children. Like, is huge, and she would just jump on this trampoline.
That
and
is
just,
so funny.
just all these
oh
little
my
simps
God.
just. Wow, boobies! Oh my God! Refresh, booster on the algorithm. Like, it was
That
crazy.
is hilarious.
10,000 a month. I was just like, this chick is making
That's
six
absurd.
figures.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And she like probably developed like really nice calves from like the trampoline.
Definitely.
Like, it's
That's a
good
great workout for
so
sure.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a win-win.
I agree. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I'm curious. Before you mentioned you dated a guy younger than you.
Yes. Not that much younger. He was like 28, 29, I think.
How old are you?
Ugh.
You're very confusing
Thank you.
because you seem like you're like mid-30s, but you look like you're like 19 with a fake ID.
Thank you.
I'm
I
like,
just
dude-
turned 32.
I'm literally like, do I talk about like investing or like, how many times can we flip the water bottle over
Right?
and like, make it land on
Exactly.
the thing,
I
put it on
love that.
TikTok? Yeah.
I fucking love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, 32. It's wild.
So what's the oldest you've dated in comparison to your age at the time? Or not dated, but like...
He just turned 55, I think.
I
He's
see.
a actor. And it was like a 3-month long. He got me through my ex failed engagement. And it was fantastic. I had the best time ever. And I'm a horror queen. I love horror movies, and he's like the horror icon. So it was great. So I have no complaints.
I see.
Best sex I've ever had.
I bet.
100%.
Get the ghosts involved. Threesome
Always
with the
the whole
ghosts.
thing.
Let's fucking go.
Exactly. It was fantastic.
That's great. That's
yeah. So I have no complaints. But I think I like older guys.
You know what's interesting? So I used to own a company in the modeling industry.
Okay, yeah.
And when new girls like would come into the scene, we used to call it hot guy phase. Like 18, 19, 20, they'd always be dating some like young hot guy, 6-pack.
Yes.
And I swear, I was like, are these guys brothers? Because they all look exactly. They have the same TikTok haircut. They got the same dangly cross earring off of TV.
Oh, I hate that shit.
It's like they all.
It's awful.
It was like Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Like it was like
horrible.
And the crazy thing was like girls when they 21, 22, 23, the most beautiful girls would always be dating like some dude who like if you like dropped off your UPS package, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Yes. But they would always be like extremely successful or charismatic or have their shit together or like the top of their industry, and they were just like fucking ballers.
Yeah.
But they'd always be like 10 years older at least. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it was interesting because it kind of felt like, yeah, you kind of got bored of like, yeah, he has a 6-pack. Like, how long can you stare at a 6-pack before it's like, yep.
You're telling me it was just so blig. There's nothing going on.
And
nothing
then you just
at
kind
all.
of get bored. Yeah, you need some actual mental stimulation after a while.
Exactly. And these idiots like did not know how to have sex. They just didn't know. They didn't know. They're not experienced either. And I wasn't either until that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is like what I like now. So it's fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
And so what would you consider your type?
I have no type. None at all, because mine is so everywhere.
Whenever girls say they have no type, it means they like ugly guys with good personalities.
You're so right. That's what my best friend says all the time. He always says, ew, you like the ugliest guy, like this guy I'm talking to.
No,
he
it's
same thing.
there's like, it's called I think geronophilia.
Okay.
It's actually a condition. I don't think there's a cure, so
there's not a cure.
you'll be fine, but like your bloodline is fucked, but like you'll be
so
fine.
fucked.
Like you're gonna go to the afterlife and your ancestors are gonna be like, what the fuck, Sloane?
I know.
They're gonna be like, Sloane, we could have had D1 athletes. Now we got some fucking leprechaun Oompa Loompas running around
110%.
trying to get their Lucky Charms back.
See, thank God I don't want kids. I just want animals, so we don't have to worry about that.
Perfect.
Yes.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to beg for a recessive gene, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Bottom
God.
right of the Punnett square, just coming through in the fourth quarter.
It's
Yeah.
horrible. He always makes fun of me. My best friend makes fun of me
There's
so much.
There's a lot of girls that love ugly guys with good personalities, you know.
I don't know why. I guess I just have so much fun with them, and it doesn't matter. Like nothing really matters, and so it's like, oh well, whatever. You know.
But that's why I love being a dude. I'm like, if you're a dude, it's like tall, rich, and funny. You just need two.
Exactly.
If you're tall and rich, you don't have to have a personality. You
No.
just get one tattoo and girls want to fuck you for no reason.
That's so true.
If you're rich and funny, you could be the ugliest motherfucker. It does not matter. You will still get girls.
100%.
Yeah,
and then the tall factor is great too. So
yeah.
It's so nice.
You ever dated someone shorter than you?
No, I think
That's
my
tough.
ex-fiance was like 5'10", and I'm 5'5" on a good day. But he was like, no, he was probably 5'9", 5'8" or 5'9", actually. Let's be
5'10"
real.
on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. I met him on Tinder when it first came out. Oh
Come
my God,
on!
I know.
You're better than this, Sloane.
I know. It was like when I was 18 years old, freshly out to LA, like just
At least meet him on Raya and pretend like it's classy.
That's
you know?
what I'm saying. No, it's Tinder. Was Raya even a thing in like 2011 or 12?
That's when Raya was
it
actually
like starting?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like, it used to be like celebrities.
Yeah.
Now it's like any dude with like a 4-pack and a fake crypto company can like get on Raya.
I got off
of
of it like 2 years ago. I couldn't do it. I was just like, I can't do it. Me either. It's terrible. Yeah. It's horrible. I'd rather just go and meet someone organically in the real world and be normal.
Catfish everywhere. Just
exactly.
like a sea of catfish swimming around. I got lifestyle catfish once.
Wait, what? How?
So this was early pandemic. Everybody's blowing up on TikTok, right? And I'm like new to LA. So I'm like bright-eyed Wisconsin boy, don't know what the fuck's going on. I meet this girl, 1 million followers on TikTok from walking. She would just like walk and then walk back like a runway walk. And just all these dudes would just like, you're hot, follow, boost
that
your algorithm.
That is hilarious. I love that.
And so I would see her Instagram, and it would be like, private jet, Mykonos, yacht, mansion. I'm like, damn, 1 million followers on TikTok. This girl must have money. And she'd always come to my place when we would hang out, which is normal.
Yes.
But I'd be like, babe, you drive like 45 minutes every time you come. Like, and she was a bad driver too, so I was kind of worried about her.
Yeah.
She was like, you ever seen like Transformers?
100%.
Like she'd be the only Transformer that would be like more dangerous as a car than the Transformer.
Oh, that's bad.
Like it'd be like, watch out, she's turning back into a Camaro. Everybody run. It'd be like that,
That is bad, yeah.
And so one day I'm like, babe, like let me go to your place. Like you always come here. Like I don't want to make you drive every time. She's like, no, it's okay. So one time I go there. And she's in the valley. Have you been to the valley much?
Oh, of course, yes. I used to live in Tarzana.
Okay. Yeah. So the valley is like, have you ever seen the movie The Lion King?
Yes, but years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this scene where Mufasa and Simba are up on Pride Rock.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, Simba, everything the light touches is your kingdom.
Yes.
And then he's like, see the dark shadowy areas? Never go there. There's crackhead hyenas. There's homeless people with fucking syringes. She was like, the valley's like that, but she was in the dark shadowy areas, like deep in the valley.
Oh, yeah.
It was like feral children scurrying around the sewers. Like it was like
that's
very
awful.
sketch.
Very sketchy.
And so I go into her place and I'm like, oh yeah, like show me the tour or whatever. First door, open it up. I'm like, oh, this is a nice like walk-in closet. She's like, Zach, this is my bedroom.
Oh.
I look down. It's a mattress on the ground. No fitted sheet, just a flat sheet over the top. I can go like this. I can touch both of the walls of her bedroom. The worst part, this is so crazy, it's going to blow your mind. We started watching Hulu on her laptop because she doesn't have a TV. She had Hulu with advertisements.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
I was like, you're on a private jet yesterday. You have Hulu with advertisements? It was so crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And that's when I was like introduced to like, oh, this is LA. Welcome to LA.
It's all a facade.
Yeah, it's like if you're a hot girl, I like to say hot girl privilege is like the top tier.
100%.
And I'm straight white male and I'm Pisces, so I'm like probably like second place. I'm kind of mad that you guys beat me every time.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's the hot girl privilege in LA for sure. It's very different.
It's very strong.
It's very crazy.
If we could find out how to tap into that power, we could like power the entire grid with just like hot girl privilege.
It's
like
wild.
Pretty nuts. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've had like the coolest experiences in the world. From 18 up until 32 out here. Like literally less than 1% of people have. You still look good too, 32. Oh, thank you.
You must do Pilates or something. I don't know.
Pilates and some Botox and staying my face out of the sun, you know?
Yeah.
All of that.
A little bit of exercise.
A little bit of exercise.
Drink a lot of water.
Lots of water, lots of champagne. Key is champagne.
Champagne keeps you young. That's
exactly.
what I heard for sure.
Always
all the
forever.
doctors agree. Yeah.
I agree. It's fantastic.
You're funny.
And I just started getting Botox when I was 30. I had a existential crisis. I was like, oh fuck, I'm 30.
A what crisis?
An existential crisis.
Oh, yeah,
I just freaked out.
Yeah, it's scary.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
And I disappeared to Mexico on my 30th birthday. And with a very famous golfer. And I just had a full freak out. Because it was right after I ended the engagement. And then it was just it was a mess. But we're good. We're good now. I still haven't came to terms with being 32, but, we're here. So it's okay.
You'll be fine.
Oh, definitely.
You still look good,
Thank you. Yeah. But yikes.
I'm just so glad I'm a dude. I feel like.
Oh, I know.
And I'm not saying this to be like a white knight, but our lives are way easier.
So much easier.
Like hot girl privilege, great. But then there's like, it does feel a little bit like you guys like wasted all your energy in the first like 100 meters. You know what I mean?
100%.
Whereas like my privilege will last forever. Like I'll be like 55, just like straight white male, Pisces. Boom. Just like
See, that's why you got to
crushing
drink
it.
the water, the champagne, and get some damn Botox, and you're good.
And we're white. Well,
Yeah.
Are you white?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so,
I'm
like,
Texan as shit.
yeah,
Texan
yeah.
and French, and that's all I got.
Yeah, like my forehead's about to look like it's fucking connected to the Wi-Fi pretty soon. Like that shit is
See?
gonna be bad.
Just do Botox. You'll be fine.
Oh, I already
That's
do.
fantastic.
Trust me.
Oh, we love it.
I'm on this train too.
Oh, yes.
I know what
We're
the
in
deal
LA.
is. It's not my first road. I wish I would have got it maybe like 2 years earlier before I started, but
Yeah, see, I'm glad I waited though, because I love it so much. And so I was like, oh, if I did, I'd probably look crazy.
yeah.
Like
yeah,
before
yeah.
30. So
Yeah.
absolutely not. So funny though. Ugh.
You're pretty funny.
Oh,
You're
thank
pretty
you.
funny.
As are you.
Did you have like a funny dad growing up or something?
I
What
had
was
the
your
best
childhood
dad
like?
ever. I had a storybook childhood. Grew up in Amarillo, Texas, in the middle of nowhere. Have you heard of Amarillo?
Yeah, I have. Heard
Okay,
of it.
okay.
Don't know anything about it, but
It's weird. It's a very odd place. I mean, I left 2 days after I graduated high school, but it's an amazing place to grow up, and people are great. Food's great. My family, they're very much so like hard asses, and they give each other so much shit
That's how my
every day.
family
We're
is.
very sarcastic. And so, you know, if you cried growing up, no, you didn't, because you weren't allowed to cry. So, you know, you got thick skin. You can do whatever and have a good time, and nothing's really that serious. And I'm just a very big Texan. So it was really fun growing up there.
that's crazy. I feel like my childhood was like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
My dad is like very old school.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in kindergarten, I fell off my bike one time and like skinned my knee. I'm like bleeding, and I come in like crying, "Daddy, my knee hurts." He literally looks at me. He's like, "Good thing you're tough."
Exactly.
walk.
Just
And like,
see
I
you
was
later.
confused because I was like, "Wait, yeah, I am tough." Like
Yeah.
he kind of gave me a compliment. Like there's nothing really I can say, but it also I feel like taught me to like fend for yourself. Like, hey,
Definitely.
son, like in real life, there's problems. Learn how to fix them. Like
You're on
nobody's
your
coming
own.
to your rescue.
Exactly. My mom was way more like that, though. My dad is the nicest human in the entire world. And, like, you can go to him with any problem, but my mom, oh, my gosh, she's like, get the fuck over it. Like, grow up and handle your shit. You're a big girl. Get your big girl panties on, you're done. So that's how she's always been. And it's, like, kind of sucked sometimes, but also I wouldn't trade it for anything because she's amazing. And, taught me a lot, and now I don't cry a lot, so it's great.
Crying's for losers.
Crying is for fucking losers. I love it though. It's great.
Were they religious? Because Texas is a
Yes.
very religious state, yeah?
Yeah, and they forced me to go to church
Same.
every Sunday and Wednesday, and
Ooh,
now
we
I
had
hate it.
like CCD Wednesday, like church school, but we didn't have to go to church.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's
similar.
nice. It was like youth group stuff. It was like your quintessential, like not mega church, but almost mega church. And it was like the hip, like youth pastor guy, you know, like, and it was just so cringy. It was awful. And like, I remember one time at this church, this just shows you how weird it was. Our like worship leader, and mind you, this was in a normal Sunday service, and there was like a Saturday night service and like 3 different Sunday services.
Okay.
But the worship leader was like a hip guy, whatever. He was like probably in his early to like mid 30s at this time. And he was married with a few kids, and his wife was always on stage singing too, the whole thing. And he comes up and they address a porn addiction that he had.
Whoa.
And says it to 4 different services. It's also being streamed online. And you're like, what? That's like what made me hate church from then on. I was like, that is no one else's business other than his family's. Like, that's his stuff. Why is he saying that? And he's like, oh, I want to be more relatable. And like, my dad was out teaching youth group stuff too. And so I like was like, what the hell? Like, that's so weird. And that's no one else's business. And it was just the weirdest. I didn't get it at all. I didn't understand.
Crazy.
I know. I don't know why they did that. So
Yeah.
that like kind of turned me off that church. So I haven't really been to church. I'm a, what is it called? Like a CEO churchgoer. It's like Christmas, Easter, and like special occasions or something. So that's about it.
Yeah. The 2 things that turned me off were, I mean, I grew up Catholic. I don't know if that's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So like Catholic has like all these like kind of like made up rules that they just, I'm like, wait. Some of this stuff makes sense.
Some of it
And then
doesn't.
some was like, some dude just made this up because he was like on a Wednesday just decided to like write this down. Like it's just like what none of this makes sense.
That is very true.
And I remember I was watching this movie about it was some movie where there's like some like ancient tribe and they're like doing the like chanting and stuff like that. And I go to church the next morning and then the priest is like, "Our Father who art in," and I was like, wait, this movie that I'm watching, like, oh, obviously it's a movie. They're praying to the rain god. This is like dumb. Then I'm like, wait, I'm going to the same shit right now. I'm like, this is the exact same thing. That was the first thing. The second thing is I moved to Nashville and I went to church one time with this girl because I was trying to hook up with her. Not in like an immoral way.
I feel that though.
You know,
no,
like,
yes,
in a
of
cool
course.
way.
In a cool way.
In a very moral kind of way.
Yes.
And yeah, she was at one of these. This is the first time I went to one of these mega churches that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was just a rock concert followed by a TED Talk. And it was in this beautiful place. And at some point, you're kind of like, yeah, but I thought you all were supposed to help like the poor people that are starving to death.
Exactly.
And you have a fucking entire production crew. Like one church service probably costs like $20,000.
100%. It's insane.
It's crazy.
Insane. And it felt so culty. I hate to say that,
culty.
but it was very culty. Yeah. And it's like a fashion show. Like no one give a fuck about that.
Mm-hmm.
At least like in Amarillo, Texas. It's just like, because there's really nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go to church on Sundays or Wednesdays and it's like a fashion show. Then you go to brunch and it's like the meetup thing, you know. It's just very culty. Club. Exactly. It's
Which,
weird.
don't get me wrong, if you just want to be part of a social club, cool.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna have sex before I'm married. Also,
same.
You know what I mean?
I know. It's like, what the hell? No, I don't know. I never understood it.
Here's what I never understood. Okay. So people would like, obviously in church, they'd be like, yeah, we're all sinners. Like I sin, you sin, you know, we make mistakes. It's okay. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, okay. So I used to follow this Instagram page called World Dumbest Criminals.
Okay.
And it'd be some criminal who like, you know, like would try to rob like an undercover cop and then like immediately get arrested and pepper sprayed. And like, you're so dumb. Like, you look at this idiot. But then I was thinking about it like, okay, if you're religious and you're like, God is always watching you, but you still sin, it's the equivalent if you're like in Walmart about to steal something and you look back and there's a cop staring at you like, hey, you're not going to steal that. That's a sin. And you're just like, fuck it, and still do it. I'm like, if you know you're going to get caught and you still sin, you're telling me you're going to risk burning in hell for all of eternity. And you really believe this? And you're going to risk doing that and like skipping church because like the Packers are playing on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
Crazy. I'm like,
agree.
None of y'all really believe.
It's hypocritical as shit. I don't get it. I know. I never understood it ever.
Yeah.
And I would like ask a lot of questions and no one could answer my questions because I love like the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
And so everybody was like, what? Oh my God, you're like into devil shit.
Wait,
like,
but they probably like, because they probably believe in some of that stuff, but they just
100%.
believe it's like demons or.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
what
like,
do you believe that?
I believe like there's good and evil for sure. I mean, I think that one time I looked the devil in her eyes. Not his, her eyes.
Oh, it's a girl.
I mean, from what I saw.
I knew the devil was a woman this whole time. I swear to God.
It freaked me out.
I was like, it's got to be a woman.
It was. And it was actually on like North Crescent Heights and Sunset is where I saw her.
Oh, you saw like a physical.
Oh, yeah. I passed her. Well, I've done a Ouija board one time. And I'll never do it again.
Oh, story time. Go.
Oh, okay. So my friends and I, we were living like at the Crescent, which is like North Crescent Heights and Sunset, right by Hyde, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And we did this Ouija board, and we weren't drinking, we weren't doing anything, and we like, you know, I read all the instructions on like how to open it, how to close it. We followed everything, and I was just such a young and dumb, naive person, and I was going to these haunted places, like, and taking little relics, like little signs or like something. So like the energy and like somewhere like that you have like these things from like really bad experiences or murders and stuff like that, you know, it'll feed off of it, right? And so we opened up the Ouija board and it just starts like spelling some weird stuff, and I was like, what does this mean? Like, I didn't ask it any questions. It just like started like spelling out this stuff, and so I googled it, and it like in the Bible it was like a demon, and I kind of freaked out. I was like, okay, like maybe we should close it. And like we kept on trying to say goodbye, and it just like shoved to no.
Wait, and it's when you're all holding the little thing,
the little
right?
oracle thing, yeah. So it was like no. And I was like, oh no, like let's try it again. And like we finally did it, but then we had a shoe rack, like some shoes started like falling off of the shoe rack. And I had an old English bulldog at the time, and he was super nice, like super great. And he would just like stare in my closet, like up there, and just be like, you know, growling and like barking at it. And I had a Polaroid camera. There was a weird orb. Like I still have all of these somewhere. They're somewhere in my apartment, but it was just crazy. And then we, like I said, like the lights are flickering. We closed it. We did everything. But then the next day I go to get my car and I bring my dog down, and we're going to go get coffee or something. It's early in the morning. And my roommate was like, oh, can you pick me up on like Fountain and Crescent Heights? And I was like, yeah, because I parked like kind of by like Santa Monica, like the street Santa Monica. And so I take the doggy on a walk, and like at this time, there are really no homeless people in West Hollywood. So it was kind of interesting to see a homeless person pushing a cart.
During the Reagan administration? How long ago?
Right. This was like 2017, I want to say. And so my dog starts growling, and at this woman that's pushing a Target cart. And she like looks like she has something wrong with her face, like her jaw's like really open or something. And we get closer to her, and he's just flipping out. And like I said, he's one of the nicest dogs, or he was one of the nicest dogs ever. And we get closer to this woman, and like her mouth is so distorted and like wide open. There's like no jaw here. It's like very weird looking. And then her eyes, like we're passing her, and he's freaking out, and she's walking really slow. And her eyes are black. Like there's no white at all. And so I like Googled it. I was like, there has to be an explanation for this, because I like to try and debunk everything. But there is like a condition, I forget what it's called, but there is a condition where like there's no white in your eye. But so I pick up my roommate. We get in the car. I pick her up on Fountain. She gets in. I turn around this way for 30 seconds. But mind you, right before this, I watched this woman walk from one end of the intersection to the next. And I watched her physically walk in. She took probably 45 seconds total because she was walking so slow. And it was kind of a smaller intersection. But I turned to my roommate. I was like, oh, I just saw something weird, blah, 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 whatever. She gets in the front seat. And this woman was within like half a second was in the same position where she started from. And I was like, okay, you can't explain that either. So that was weird. So we go out about our day, whatever. We're just like, oh, that's uncomfortable, whatever. The next day is Valentine's Day. And I went to Target with my dog, took my dog, and my roommate's calling me like crying. And she's like, oh my God, I have a really bad feeling. I'm at Starbucks up the street. Can you come meet me? I see this woman again. And I'm like, of course. And I drive down to her, whatever. And she like calls me again. And she's like, oh my God, she's following me. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And we're on the first floor. And so our balcony is literally right on Fountain. And so I swoop her up. She's crying. And we stick her in the car. We go into the apartment. Everything's fine. I kid you not. I cannot make this up. That woman was on our balcony looking into our apartment.
What the fuck?
And then, so we made the Ouija board. It was like just out of cardboard, right?
We made it.
We made it. We didn't want to buy one, so we made it. And we ended up like cutting it up and like burying it on Mulholland Drive because we were so scared of this woman. We're like, oh my God, we got to get this out of here. I went and returned like a no trespassing sign from that Los Feliz murder house, actually, because I took a sign from there because I trespassed back in the day, like to go creep in it, you know? And so we returned everything, buried this Ouija board and everything, and then never saw her again. So I had the worst feeling from her. I had the worst vibes. So I don't know. It was very odd. Very weird. Yeah. I will never fuck with a Ouija board again.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like...
scary.
Also, I feel like if you're using a cardboard one, you're going to get kind of like the ghetto demons, you know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
You
Like,
get the bad
I
ones.
want to get the classy demons. Like, get the nice wooden Ouija board, like a nice finish on it.
Like the one from...
the expensive one.
Yeah.
Gold-plated.
Exactly. The nicest.
Let's get some classy demons.
Yeah, we didn't get classy demons. We got the devil.
Got the homeless demons,
The homeless, crazy demon with no jaw and black eyes.
Crazy.
Very scary. She didn't talk one time. She
That's...
just made a noise.
Well, I'm glad you told me that the devil's a girl.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
A lot of women that,
Absolutely. It's a weird situation, you know. I will never fuck around with a Ouija board. Actually, that's a lie. I might if it's the right circumstance and we film it all. I'm like, maybe.
Do it for the views.
Exactly. I might do it for the views. And a really cool, like, the Conjuring house. That would be a dream. I would do it there. But
is that like a thing you can do? Like you can like rent it out and check it out?
I think they just closed it though. Because I think some like crazy stuff was happening. So I don't know. Yeah, pretty wild though.
Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
And do you believe that these demons you're seeing are demons from the like religious sense, or do you think it's a completely different thing, or what?
Honestly, I have no idea. I have so many questions that just can't be answered, you know, and like no one can answer them. We can't answer them. I think evil and good is real. And I think that I believe in karma a lot. So if you do good, you're going to get good. But
I prove karma doesn't exist.
Do you? I mean, me too. I've gone through some shit, but
where's the karma for my mom for that haircut she made me have in fucking 5th grade? She just lives this nice little life. Nothing bad happens to you. I'm like, Mom, do you see this fucking haircut?
Was it a bowl cut? What was it?
Yes. Yeah. How did you know? It was like literally the bowl cut. And then in high school, I had like the Justin Bieber cut, but not like the cool,
not the swoopy,
tattoo.
Yeah.
I had the fucking swoop, like the little kid. Like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I bet bitches loved you.
No, not in high school. I was no, I got no chicks in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was super shy. Yeah. It took me a while to go through my glow up period. Yeah.
That's nice though. That's good.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah.
People call it trauma, but I'm like, I kind of like it. I'm glad for that trauma. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, I'm glad for my trauma, like growing up and shit. So it was nice. Whatever. Shapes you into who you are.
Yeah. What kind of trauma did you go through?
Honestly, nothing really. I had a very cush childhood, but I will say the trauma out here when I moved here, because freshly 18, you're being wild, doing crazy things. Let's see, probably like when I started reality TV with that stupid reality TV show called The Drama Queen.
Tell that story.
Yes. That was my only like real trauma, was with Marky Costello. And I reached out to her like not that long ago, and she never hit me back. So I was like, wow.
That's how you end up
the
on a
audacity.
Podcast,
Exactly. The audacity.
You don't reach out, you're getting your story told, whether you like it or not.
She was awful. One of the worst people I've ever been around.
And she was like the producer for the show, or what?
It was all about her. So she was a Hollywood like talent agency for young Hollywood, basically. And she... I don't even know how to explain this. She was signing, like I was the oldest one at the time, and I'm pretty sure I was like 19 and 20. And she was trying to do like younger kids, and like I looked really young at that time and whatnot. And I really didn't have like a talent then. I was just like kind of wanting to like host and like, do things like that. But the show was beyond so fake. Like it was just so fake, and they tried to have everybody like themed. It was kind of like they had moms involved in it too, like momager types. And my mom was in Texas, but she came out a few times. But they basically had you like do this fake audition even though you already got casted for the show. And so they like actually had people that were in hopes of getting this show that were like waiting in these crazy lines because it was on E, and it was like a big deal. It was like when the Kardashians, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, were like the top thing and like total divas. And so everybody wanted to be on E, and these poor people didn't know that like, oh, the actual cast of this show are sprinkled in for these auditions. And so I do it, and she's like, I want to make you like my little like special project. Like I think you have, you can talk to people, you're empathetic, like you're outgoing, you're this, and this. Like we're going to make you like hosting queen and like throw you into acting stuff. And I like never really wanted to act at all. I do not like acting whatsoever. I cannot take myself seriously, and it's difficult. But they made me do like a make under versus a make over. So I agreed to like do this haircut, and it was like a bob like down to here. It was cute. I was going to look really cutesy and stuff. And they like wanted me no eyelashes, like minimal makeup, the whole thing. And I go, like, it's our episode to film all this, and go to this great salon in Beverly Hills. I'm thinking everything's going to be perfect and it's going to work out exactly how I want it. Well, they start taking out my extensions and stuff, and then she all of a sudden comes up and she's like, oh, I'm going to put you in a pixie cut. And I was like, no, you're not. Like, I have a round, fat face. Like, there is no way that your ass is putting me in a pixie cut. That's not my thing.
Well, what's considered a pixie cut?
Like your hair.
Like, okay. Like
yeah.
the
like,
super short.
Yeah,
line.
like short. Like, no, there's no way. I would
tough.
absolutely not. And so I start like kind of freaking out, and I don't agree to it. And she like calls my mom and like makes a huge deal. My mom has to like talk to me, whatever. I'm sitting there and I was like, no, we can do exactly what I agreed to. Like, I signed all of this stuff for it. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm like kind of not crying yet, but I can feel my tears come on. And mind you, we did like a full face of makeup. So the makeup artist put eyelashes on me. I was like, oh my God, my eyes are watering. I know for a fact the second I start having watery eyes, they're going to fall off. Mm-hmm. And so I put my head in my hands like this and like ripped off my eyelashes really quick. And the second I ripped off my eyelashes, the guy that was cutting my hair just goes and like cuts off like half of my like whole head of hair back here. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And so I start freaking out. I am cussing up a storm. I am just acting a fool. And so they have to do it because it's already half done. They cut all of it. Late. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And like, I'm screaming like, I look like a fucking lesbian. I can't believe this. I'm walking out. I walk out and I grab my extensions because I just had clip-ins at the time. I walk out and luckily I want to say like Kitson was right next door. And I go in and buy a beanie. And then I come back into the like hair studio. I pop in my extensions to whatever's left of the hair, put on a beanie. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, I'm over this. And they're like, no, you can't. You sign a contract. Like, we will sue you if you get out of it. And I was like, well, there's no way that I'm going around with this hair. Like, I refuse to. And like, you guys fucked me. And like, I'm not to, I don't know what to do here. And so they rewrote my character as like being a villain and like, oh, she doesn't want Marky Costello's help. Like, she wants to be this crazy Hollywood party girl and like date rappers and musicians and actors and stuff. Like, she doesn't want our help. She's not serious about this. So they had me work, which I love this place. I think it's great. So I'm not talking shit at all. But they had me work at the Pleasure Chest on Santa Monica, which is a sex store for people that don't know that in LA. And they had me work there, and I only filmed it for like 8 hours. And they made it look like I was there for months. And like Marky comes in and she's like, see, I told you you'd be working here. By the time you're 50, you're going to be flipping, what does she say? Like pancakes at IHOP or something. I was like, how rude. And then my mom comes out to visit me. Like, they flew my mom out, and her and my mom just go crazy against one another. But like, also whenever the cameras are done, everybody's friends. Like, it's really weird.
Really?
It was really weird.
So how did...
I was never friends with her.
Like,
my mom was nice.
Be friends with her after that? Like, they just like cut her daughter's hair off and, you know, made her play the villain.
Yeah, and my mom was like, oh, well, she's actually not that bad. But she always had my back. But like, it was so weird because they told everybody to amp it up, like really hardcore. And my mom amped it up, Marky amped it up, and they like would go at each other. And then the cameras would cut and they'd be like, oh, so what are you up to these days? What are you doing? What's this? And it's really weird.
That is really weird.
So weird. And then like they would have me go out with, because they had like a portion of the office drama in Marky's office, and then like her clients, which I was technically a client. And her receptionist, we got along really well. And she was like around my age. I took her out like but it was for the show. But we were like just talking and like drinking. They were getting me wasted, and I was very underage. And they would make me say the craziest out-of-pocket things, and like just, it was wild. Mm-hmm. And then that, like, it was a wild experience. It was one of the most embarrassing experiences I've ever had, but it opened doors. So, I mean, I can't really complain, but it was bad at the time. It was just crazy.
Was it to the point, like, that people would like recognize you on the street and like be mean? Was it to that point?
And like I was getting trolled on Twitter. Like some people loved it, but like I got the worst things in the entire world said to me on Twitter. I would go to the airport and people would be so mean.
Really?
And like just out here, it was wild.
That is crazy.
And I was just like, whatever, these people don't know. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
See, luckily I was raised the way I was raised.
Yeah,
And I was like, fuck it, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care about what people say.
Do you feel like it helped you? Because when people go through an experience like this, it's like either they grow from it and learn lessons and become stronger, or they become jaded. But it seems like you came through it kind of coming like stronger and more.
Definitely.
Yeah, how did that help you kind of grow?
Interesting. It was just a very unique experience. And then like you kind of like realize how some of the reality TV shows are very fake. And like, you know, people like from middle America or from where I'm from, they think it's all real. And like and people on the internet take it so literally, and it's really not that deep. You know, it's like very surface level and like it's fine. So, I mean, I learned a lot. But I also just like didn't really care about it because it was such a strange experience. And she was so mean. And like we were trying to get a second season and like people wanted a second season, but they hated her office stuff. And she would only sign on to a second season if it was more of her office stuff. And she didn't want like her clients to go because one girl that I was with, she's like a pretty big actress now. She does like she's a huge dancer and like ballerina girl, and she's like huge on TikTok. And so like people from that show have like gone to do things, but yeah, she didn't want anybody having success other than her. And some of the people that were in the office were hired actors that weren't even working for her. So it was a very unique and odd experience to say the least, but it is what it is. It was a fun time for a second, other than the haircut thing.
Yeah.
That was horrible. So miserable.
Yeah. Sounds like a very harsh welcome to LA moment.
Oh, definitely. And back whenever like Tumblr was big, there was me saying, oh my God, I look like a lesbian meme going around, or a GIF. It was a GIF with my hair, and I was like, oh my God, I hate this. Get me out of here.
Yeah, people see it and they're like, oh, she must be homophobic and hate lesbians.
I know, which in reality, I hang out with gays every fucking day. Yeah. They're my best friends. So it's just wild. It makes no sense, but it was fun. It was a good experience, learning experience.
Opened some doors for you
Definitely. It was nice.
Yeah, I always feel like if you can get through that kind of stuff, like even living in LA, a lot of my Wisconsin friends are like, oh, isn't it like so fake down there? I'm like, yeah, but like you just find your people who are good people. You hang out with them all the time, and then like other people like you or hate you or think you're a bad person or what. Like I say some pretty wild shit on this show sometimes, and like some people are like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm like, okay, well then just don't hang out with those people. Who cares?
Exactly.
Like,
who cares? Matter.
You got your friends.
See, I always live by the motto is it's not that deep.
It's
really not that deep. We're all trying to survive. We're all trying to live and get through every day.
Like there are people in Venezuela that have to walk like 5 miles to like the local well to like shower. You know, it's like crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it's insane.
And we're like, man, like my girlfriend broke my heart. Oh
like,
no.
Get the fuck over it. Like it's fine. Yeah. You'll survive.
These Gen Zs are just creating a whole new breed of just like when I was growing up, like the losers were like, you know, the guy who would play like video games in his mom's basement for like 8 hours a day.
Definitely.
Right? The Gen Z have like invented a new breed of losers that's like so lazy. They literally sit in their mom's basement and watch people play video games.
They can't wild.
They sit in their mom's basement, go on Twitch, and watch somebody else in their mom's basement play video games. It's like the bar was underground. It was so low, and the Gen Z have like tunneled underneath the earth to climb under the bar.
It's the underworld now, you know?
It's like the underworld. It's really like the underworld.
It's wild. Yeah. It's wild out here. Gen Z sucks.
Yeah, fuck Gen Z. Yeah, fuck all of you.
I have like, I know, right? God, I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And my sister is 24 and my brother is 20.
Okay.
And my brother's amazing, though. He like gives no fucks. He's very...
good for him.
He's in D.C. going to American University as an intern at the White House. And my sister, though... Bless you.
Thank you.
Of course. My sister went to college at Wesleyan in Connecticut.
Okay.
And it's more like on definitely the liberal side, but she was such like a hard ass. Like, she's the only person I've ever gotten in a fist fight with, and she was Miss Volleyball Queen. She's like 5'10". She was like the number 2 setter in the country. Wow. And she was super tough, like super everything. She went out there and became such a pussy. Like, I love her to death, and she's my best friend. But she is like the Gen Z type where like, oh, everything hurts her feelings and it's really sad and I hate it for her. And I like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I just feel like for some reason, it's like a lot of the Gen Z culture has been taught like, if something's wrong, like it's never your responsibility. It's never your fault. It's always like, yeah, just like go to therapy and like they will make it feel better.
Yeah.
Instead of like fixing the problem.
Exactly.
And then like, I'm like, yeah, no wonder y'all all have anxiety and like all this stuff because you never like fix the like core issue.
Exactly.
And then the therapist makes you feel better about it. And then you're just perpetual therapy the rest of your life because.
Do you believe in therapy?
Oh, man, I'm going to be canceled.
I know, me too. It's okay.
I think, okay, if you went to Vietnam and you're in a ditch and your best friend gets his head blown off and like some of his like fucking like muscle tissue goes in your mouth and you accidentally eat your best friend, like, okay, you like go to therapy, okay, I'm down, you know.
Definitely.
But if it's like, yeah, like when I was little, like my mom put my brother's spelling test on the fridge and she didn't put mine on the fridge, so now I have trauma. And you know, when she gave me a hug one time, she like squeezed too tight and now I have depression. Like, it's like,
it's insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. I've gone to therapy once.
I did too,
and I'll never go back.
That wasn't for me.
Who was it for?
So I was dating this girl and she was going to this therapy. Oh, so first of all, every Wednesday, she would just be pissed off for no reason. I'm like Sherlock Holmes, like trying to find
what the hell is going on
Wednesday? I'm like putting together the piece of the puzzle. And I realized Wednesday is her therapy day.
Oh, okay.
She goes to therapy. The therapist drudges up all this stuff from her past. And she's like in a bad mood. And then I kind of take the brunt of it. And I have no PhD. I don't have like a college degree in psychology. But I can tell you 100% she had anxiety because every morning she would wake up and for 3 hours she would sit on her vape with TikTok like 2 inches from her eyeballs, just fucking sucking in nicotine like it's oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why you have anxiety.
Definitely.
It's not because like when you're little, like your mom, like whatever the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So after a while, I'm like, you know, after like 6 months, I'm like, babe, like, this is why, like your therapist, he probably is trying to like keep getting you to come to therapy because he's making money off it. So then the next week she's like, hey, Zach, my therapist wants you to come to our next session.
Oh no.
And I'm like, God damn it. Why did I even like start this thing? So I go in with this therapist and he's kind of like blaming me for like her problems. And after like a half hour, my mind, I don't know if this is true or not, but my mind was like, I think the therapist is trying to fuck my girl.
Oh,
I
shit.
think he's trying to like paint me as the bad guy, then like put me out of picture and then shoulder to cry and boom, steal my chick, right? So I like stormed out of the office. I was like, fuck this shit, right? And she comes running after. She's like, Zach. I'm like, babe, your therapist is trying to fuck you. And she's like, first of all, he's not my therapist. He's my energy healer.
Oh, no.
I was like, this is a Walmart brand therapist. This fucking Temu therapist who's not even an actual therapist is trying to steal my girl. Like, fuck this shit.
Not the energy healer.
What is an energy healer?
I don't know.
What is your qualification? Like, you go to the top of a mountain and like lightning strikes you and now you're an energy healer?
You do ayahuasca once.
Exactly.
Yes.
So after that, I was just like, I don't know.
That's pretty wild. Out of pocket. Yeah. Yikes.
And to me, it's like, okay, like, because girls always disagree with me on this topic. And they're like, and by the way, I think therapy might be good for girls because I don't know what it's like being a girl and having like double the hormones that we have. So maybe it's like, yeah, you guys need it. But if you're a dude, it's kind of like, yo, your responsibility is like fix the fucking problem. If I'm crying and then the girl's crying and then who's going to go fix the flat tire?
Exactly.
Like the fucking air?
See me. I grew up in Texas. I can fix anything.
Probably.
So yes, but like, no, I don't know. Yeah, I get that for sure.
And I'm like, okay, be honest. Like, if there was some dude you're dating, and or let's say you're married, let's up the stakes. He comes home from work. He's like, babe, I just lost my job, right? All of a sudden he starts crying. Oh, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna pay the bills? You know, you come home from work the next day. He's on the couch with a glass of wine, you know, watching reruns of Love is Blind. Oh, babe, what are we going to do? It's like, do you want that dude?
No.
Or do you want the dude that takes his emotions, stuffs them deep down in his psyche where they belong, and mans up and fixes the problem?
10 times rather have that.
Of course.
100%.
It's bizarre
like
that it's
fixers.
controversial to me.
I know,
you know,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's bizarre. We live in a weird world right now.
I agree. How was you went to therapy once?
Yeah.
Just try it out, going through something?
No. I just went just because, to be honest, my parents thought I had an eating disorder. And so I went and then I tried it and it was a man. And I was just like, no, we're not doing that. It's awful. And so I hated it. And then also, let's see, I just like, I feel like therapy for me is like being with my best friends or being with my sister or like working out or being outside, hanging out with the animals. Like I love animals. And so that's therapy. It makes me feel 10 times better. I don't need to talk about emotions. Yeah. You just move on.
Yeah.
Because it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine and dandy. The world still moves and people have problems every day and you just got to figure out how to fix it and you know, get it head on and you're good.
There are even like new kinds of depression now that they're just like making up. There's something, I'm not kidding you. It's like, oh, you have depression because it's winter.
Oh, seasonal depression. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, like depression used to be like, oh, like my mom and dad died in the same month and I figured out I had cancer. I have depression. Now it's like I don't like the winter. I like the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sad. Like, what? That's crazy to me.
Insane. Yeah. People are dying around the world. Like in America, like it's not that deep.
It's like, and we live in LA. It's not even that cold in the winter. It's like, whoa.
No, it's great.
Got down to 55.
Like
I'm
shit.
sad.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I think it's so stupid. Me too.
I like Texas mindset. You know,
always.
Texas is like, you guys kind of got it locked down. You know?
Definitely, of course. Texas is great.
You guys are big on like chivalry too, yeah?
Oh yes, I love a manly man who like does things, opens doors. Actually, going back to my ex-boyfriend, the one that moved in with me, he wanted to do fucking 50-50. And he moved into my place. And then I was like, are you kidding me? Like, no. I think that's ridiculous, in my opinion. Especially, say, I can get behind, like, if we both are working and stuff and, like, we're splitting things, like, whatever, okay. But if he's expecting me to do all of these things, right? Cook, clean, do his laundry, do everything, and he's just going to work and coming home. Okay, like he's paying all the bills, you know, and I will freaking like do groceries. I'll run off his errands. I will cook. I will clean. I will do anything in the entire world, and like, you know, sexually too, whatever. It's fine. But these guys now want like to take all of your energy and then half of your money and not do a damn thing and just be like sitting on the couch for the rest of the night and like just being boring and like weird. And I hated that. I just hated that so much because I grew up where men are men and they are providers and they are very like, you know, the women do things for them, and I like that. But I think that's also like not a very popular opinion these days.
I think it's swinging back.
I think so. I see it a little bit, definitely, because women are sick of 50-50.
Yeah.
Like it sucks. They want a freak in the sheets. They want a businesswoman. They want to be having like their laundry done. They want a clean house. They want everything cooked. They want the whole thing. And like that just doesn't happen anymore if you're doing 50-50. And then you're expecting a woman to also pay for 50 of everything too. Like,
but I think it's just all of Gen Z, regardless of gender.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's saying from a guy's perspective,
yeah,
it's kind of the same. Girls are like, pay for everything. I'm like, okay, dope. And they're like, what? You want me to like clean because you think I'm a woman? I'm like, no, because I'm footing all of the bill.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's why, like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Like, if you want to not like clean and do like the woman stuff, cool.
Yeah.
But like, don't act like I'm a boss bitch and like I make all this money and then I'm like, but you're not working. Like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
I'm doing all the work and I'm making the money. Like, it's just.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, but I also, like I said, I grew up in like a very chivalrous state, and especially Amarillo itself. Like my mom, whenever she had kids, and she was a single mom with me, And then she married my stepdad, and my stepdad adopted me and stuff.
see.
And so then she had 2 other kids. And the second she had my sister, my dad was like, you're going to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, you're going to stay at home, take care of the kids. And she was so happy. And she, mind you, when it was just her and I, she graduated. She was in political science, and she was working at the White House doing all of those things. And she was really happy. But then she moved back as soon as she had me, and started an interior design business after she like got a divorce with my biological dad. Had a great business, had everything. And then she met my dad, and he's like, I'm a provider, I'm a man. Like, I want you to be home. And she's never been happier. And like, not saying that women shouldn't have careers or anything, because I love a boss ass bitch. But I also love, like, if you're going to be with a man and be married to a man, like, I want to be treated like a woman. And I actually love doing laundry and cooking and doing all that. So I like that. I like taking care of people.
Yeah, I think if there's a balance, I think there's probably 10 to 20% of women who would be happier
Definitely
being the provider. And, you know, there's 10 to 20% of men who are, you know, little soy boys who like, you know, eat ice cream out of a cone and just want, you know, to be fed 3 times a day and a little warm blanket placed over them. And that's good. Like, they should match up with each other.
I agree.
And then the men can date like the more feminine girls, and like
100%.
everybody's happy.
I know. It's great. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. But hopefully it's coming back more into style again, and people will stop getting canceled for it, because cancel culture is ridiculous.
Hey, I think
Absolutely
I
ridiculous.
really think it's swinging the other way.
I think so too.
I think the last election kind of was like, yo, we don't really all think this anymore kind of thing.
agree.
I think it kind of changed the tide for everything.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's nice.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I know, same. It's
Awesome.
great. Yeah.
We are technically over time, but I did want to ask you kind of a couple about your other career paths.
Yes.
You do drums.
Oh, yes,
I do. Is that a passion? Is that a hobby? Is that something you're trying to do professionally?
All of the above. I did it for probably since I was 10 years old. And I love playing the drums. I am a big emo screamo fan, you know, from back in the day, like Warped Tour days. And so my parents were so supportive, got me my first drum set, did all of that. Then when I moved out here, I kind of forgot about it. Like, I lost it. And then like 2 years ago, I got an electric drum set, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually good. Like, this is fun. I miss this. And I'm launching on my Playboy site, and I'm going to do some topless drumming. And then some friends and I are doing a band soon. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm very excited. I love playing the drums. It's like one of the things that makes me very happy. And I'm actually not bad at it. So, yeah.
And I think it makes you stand out from the standpoint of like, okay, hot girl. There's a lot of hot girls.
Yes.
There's a lot of drummers.
Yes.
There's not a lot of hot girl drummers. Like,
no,
that's
that
kind
is
of
very true.
It's more of a rare thing.
Definitely.
Unique.
And it's so fun. It's great. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be topless drumming.
That'll be hilarious.
It'll be hilarious and great. I filmed one cover, but I'm kind of afraid to release it, but I'm going to do it in February.
Just do it.
I just got to do it, put it out there.
Whenever people are nervous to release stuff, I'm always like, you realize there's a guy who cheated on his pregnant wife with a porn star.
Yep.
And then we elected him president of the United States.
That is
Nobody
true.
cares.
No one gives,
Nobody cares
it's
about your
not that
content.
deep. I
It's
need to
not
go
that
back
deep,
and
literally.
remind myself it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I cannot wait.
Awesome.
Super fun.
All right, we got one last question that we always ask where we do a debate, me and Mo.
Okay.
So let's say you get a text from a guy you meet.
Yes.
And the bubble's green.
Oh my God.
Is that a red flag?
He's an Android user.
I
just went through this, actually.
No way.
That is so funny. Yes. So is this horrible to say, but I'm going to out myself, and someone is going to be so mad at me for saying this. There's a guy who I was like kind of seeing a little bit, and he's also in the horror space. And he is very interesting and kind of nerdy and whatnot, which, like I said, I don't care about looks. It's all about personality. And he had a green bubble, and he fit every fucking stereotype for a damn green bubble that I could see. Bad breath.
Looks like a Discord moderator.
100%. And that's all I'll say about it. It's like bad, but yes, it is a red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, but sometimes, okay. I've never met a cool Android user in my life.
Mo is a full Android
Stop.
user. He's
oh my
big.
God.
The specs are better.
Oh.
Like, he's like one of those guys, you know?
Exactly.
Every time he sends me a video, I'm like, is this a party or is this World War II footage? I can't tell.
Yeah, because it's all grainy as hell. It's awful. It's slow. I'm sad I miss Mo. I knew him in my past life.
I know. You'll have to come out with us sometime.
Absolutely. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. He makes me download some third world app to FaceTime him. You know, it's like.
Oh my God. Yeah. Also FaceTime.
Yeah.
I'm such a FaceTime person.
Me
like,
too.
how the hell can these people live without FaceTime?
I just make sure like they have a case on their phone. To protect my floor in case they drop that fucking brick.
Oh my God, it's gigantic, but red flag for sure. Hate it.
Awesome. Well, Sloane, this has been fun. We'll have to have you on for round 2 sometime.
Absolutely. I'd love that. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening.